Hello everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. So today I'm going to be looking at GBPJPY, USDJPY, EURJPY, and GBPUSD. My main pair is GBPJPY, and I've kind of made a new rule with myself. So I usually have 3 max losses per week. I'm more of an intraday swing trader. So my max loss is three consecutive losses per week. So if I'm minus 3% down, I stop trading. And because I've mainly focused on GBPJPY, I'm just trying to see something else which works for me. So I've chosen these 3 pairs, and I'm only allowed to take one trade on these 3 pairs if I want to, and it can only be a high probability trade. And the reason is because it just gives me more, it helps my psychology of being able to just look at some other pairs, and just in case nothing's happening with GJ, I don't have impulsive um reactions where I just look to enter when there's nothing there. So I'm just really adventuring out and seeing if this works, where I can look at 3 other pairs and only take one high probability trade. So make sure that trade is very high probability, and especially when I'm not completely comfortable with these 3 pairs yet. I just want to take my time with it. But yeah, GBP JPY is still my main focus. Also gold as well, but gold is very sideways, so I've removed it for now, and I'll probably revisit it next week. So if we look at this right now, what we can see is GBP JPY has shifted bullish on the weekly time frame as we have closed above this area, above these bodies, and pinched above these highs. We can also see that we had this doji, we had a prominent wick to the downside where sellers couldn't get price down too low. Price tried to push him down further, but it couldn't, and we actually closed above this area, and it looks like a engulfing, which is an engulfing, and we closed above the previous highs. We closed above these bodies as well. So the weekly is clearly bullish. And we need to now see, where can we look for buys? Where is the wick low going to be for this week's candle coming up? Now, I think it may be around this area here. It may be a small prominent wick to the downside before we do push up. And we can also see that on the weekly time frame, our next area is probably around 192, 192, 192, 192, 192, support, 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 and support there as well. And we can see in the past, we'll come on to that actually after, but I'll go back to the past in a minute. But we can also see on the daily time frame we've closed above these highs. Now there's lots of indecision here, lots of consolidation. So price may consolidate for for this week even, or until Friday before we do push up, or Monday, Tuesday we may just pull back, push up. Anything can happen. So I am looking for price to bounce off this 4-hour support resistance area, the previous resistance, 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 support, support, support. So GBPJPY sometimes likes to do this before continuing up, maybe on Friday or next Monday. Or we may just pull back now and fly up. That's if we respect this area. That's if I get a 30-minute engulfing or a strong rejection, I will look for buys. However, if we break below, you could maybe take a more riskier trade and look to take price down into 187.500, which is our previous support, strong support. Resistance. It's also around psychological level. It's also our previous daily structural resistance as well. So that's our second area of interest if we do not respect this area. And it also, when you look at this on the daily time frame in the past, let's just go back. Look, look, look. It took around a month to get there, from May 19th to June the 5th. So it took around 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks. But here it took 2 days. Here, price went from here to here literally in 1 day. So we know how fast GBPJPY can move, and this could literally happen in the span of 1 or 2 days or 3 days, which is the beauty of trading GBPJPY, because huge moves happen. Yeah, and even if you pay attention, here 2 days, look how much this moved. Another 2 days, it could take half the move could happen in just 2 days. And for me, the risk to reward could even be 1 to 7, and I'm happy with that as well. Anything around 1 to 5, I'm happy with. For now, since I'm predicting a big move. if we do respect this area or this area. And yeah, that's it for GBPJPY. Not really looking for sells because it doesn't make sense to. USDJPY, same as GBPJPY, to be honest with you. We had a prominent wick to the downside. We're clearly bullish on the weekly time frame. We can see this when we closed above this area. We had a huge wick to the downside, wick, and we pushed up into 157.6765. 151.765. You can also see on the daily time frame we're forming higher highs and higher lows. So I'm looking for a pullback into the previous daily high or this support area here. So this is area of interest 1 or area of interest 2, and we can look for buys. Even if you go on the 4-hour time frame, exactly, we're either waiting for price to tap into this previous 4-hour support resistance or around our next area of interest. If we don't respect this area, I'll look for price to respect this area. If we do, I will put my stops below this low or around here, around 148, and I will look to take price up into 151.765, and I may have a TP1 off here. So maybe you could take a short-term sell with a tighter stop loss into here, or a bigger stop loss with a bigger TP up until there. EURJPY, same thing again. Weekly is clearly bullish, very similar PA to GBPJPY, similar weekly candle closure. The daily has closed above, so we can either wait for price to pull back into here or pull back into here. And I'm thinking here for now, but can remove that. Yeah, so we can see prices come into this area and engulfed out. I'm looking for a double bottom. If we get another rejection, I will look for buys into that area. We can also see this is a nice area of support, resistance, resistance, resistance. So yep, it's a strong level, and I can look for price to push up. GBPUSD. GBPUSD, I was quite bearish, especially when all time frames were bearish. But the only thing that's put me off is this weekly wick to the downside. So I'm not interested. I don't want to sell against that wick. It just doesn't make sense for me. Like, what's the probability of us engulfing down? Not high, right? Especially with that rejection, especially when we rejected the support as well. Yeah, similar to this. Can see price pushing up like this now. Don't look, another wick, push up. We see in history for G, even here, we had a wick here and we pushed up. I don't really want to sell against this wick. So what I'm anticipating is for the daily to close above, give us a pullback, and you can look for buys into 127.431. And not only that, you can see price push down from here. You can see it tap into this mini previous resistance and potentially push down into 1.272. So you can potentially look for sales there. But overall, yeah, I'm anticipating more buys just due to that weekly wick. But I may be wrong. I just don't think there's a high probability of us further pushing down based off that wick, even though structure is bearish. So yeah, I hope that helped, and I hope you all have a great trading week.